Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today I want to talk a little bit about 12 personality traits required for success. And these are things that I've taught my leaders in the past and things that I think all leaders should be aware of. And I think as you last in a position, the folks that typically stand out and maintain careers and retire from a situation, it's because they emulate these and typically require that of their subordinates as well. So let's look into this. And if you're, graduating high school soon, or you're currently in college, business is going to be a part of your life. And a lot of the jobs or the opportunities you have, if you show understanding around and capacity around these items, it will make you stand out from the crowd. I've hired thousands of people at this point, trained hundreds, and probably unfortunately fired thousands at this point too. So I'll tell you, these stand out in each one of those situations. There's been tons of books written around this in business and in psychology and in philosophy around how you handle yourself and what you do. But we'll go through these. I'll speak to them briefly, but I do expect this to be a fairly quick video. So let's dive in. Number one would be think positive. A lot of times folks let things hit them pretty heavily, and they can get negative fairly quick. And when you're negative or you're in that mindset, anything in front of you is going to become that much more difficult. So think positive, even though that sounds quirky, that is actually a key part of someone's psychology and how they handle things that determine whether or not they can be successful or not. So thinking positive, there's been hundreds of books written around that and positive thinking, the power of positive thinking. So take a look at some of those books, and they'll deep dive that a bit more than I plan to do here. Number two, be honest. Honesty is the key piece to integrity. And, everyone talks about having integrity. Most businesses have some type of mission statement on the wall or some type of key principles or underlying beliefs. On all of those, you'll see that integrity is on that. And the primary piece of integrity is being honest. Sometimes transparency can save companies millions of dollars by actually being able to attack the true root cause. The more honest you are, the more quickly that can be identified, the more quickly the root cause can be addressed and corrected. Number three is specifically important around leaders. You have to delegate. You have to delegate. So I did a previous video about urgency versus the things that are important. A lot of those urgency type items should be delegated to teammates and subordinates who can handle those urgent items and let that be part of their daily workload, where you can focus on what's the imperatives, the things that are going to make you hit your long-term plans. So number three is delegate. Do it appropriately. Make sure the people that you're delegating to understand the expectation. They've been trained on those things so they can be successful. And as they do things successfully, ultimately the expectation should be they can delegate things to members of their team as well to continue that pattern going and continue that level of learning and failing forward going. Number four is communicate. We've talked about communication before on the channel, just making sure it's understood and what you're saying and what you're expecting is clear. So the expectation is clearly understood, where that person can say it back to you and know what the expectation is around the job. So communicate. Effectiveness is key. Urgency is key. And repetitive nature of communication is key. When you communicate things regularly, people start to pick up on it, and something they missed before, they'd have the opportunity to learn it again. Number five is inspire. You want to inspire those that work with you. You want to inspire those that you partner with in whatever you're doing, whether they're in your direct line or another line where you're working cohesively together. A big part of cooperation is inspiration. If you can do something well and show people how to do that well, where it can be implemented and emulated, what will happen is there'll be some energy around that, and you'll be impressing people by things that they can do themselves once you show them. So inspiring people. Make sure you're focused on continuing your education, continuing your training, doing your self-improvement, whatever it may be, so you can continue to stay ahead of your team and inspire. Being honest is a big piece of that. If you're not going to be honest to people and be clear with what you're doing and be kind, then you're going to fail to inspire. So be inspirational, be good, show them that you're there to support them and support their success. Do what you can to help them, and this includes customers as well. When you help them, that ultimately is going to help you. So inspire. Align the team. So with team alignment, you talk some about focus, and like I said earlier, communication and effective explanation of expectations. But aligning the team, making sure everybody's on the same page, making sure everybody knows how their contribution is important to the goal. That's a big piece of getting people bought in and getting the team dedicated to the work they're doing by understanding how their work impacts the final end user. If you do that, you'll keep teams energized, and it will be where they feel appreciated because they see how they fit in the big picture. So align the team. Number 7 would be balanced. You want to be able to be, I always use it as foundation. When you talk about construction, the foundation is extremely important. By being balanced, by focusing on the things that you need to focus on to keep the long-term plan, making sure that the urgency items are focused on but are delegated so they can be handled properly too. Doing those things in a way where the business continues to be normal and to move forward and to have a normal stride where it can be replicated day after day and then trained day after day. That's extremely important. So being balanced where you're handling things, where no things are getting ignored, that quote that I mentioned, inspect what you expect, and do that systematically. Have it built into your schedule. Have your schedule built out where people know when they can come see you and when they understand things will get done based on how you do things. It should be predictable with boredom if you have everything balanced. Number 8 is give credit. When you give credit to teammates for doing what they do well, you boost their confidence. Even the smallest thing, when it comes from cleanliness or how they spoke to someone or how they appreciate someone, those things boost confidence, and then you're going to get a greater buy-in from that teammate. You're going to get increased participation from that teammate, and you'll get more done by that teammate. Teammates that are enthusiastic and feel like they're appreciated and they're given credit for what they're doing, they're going to do more, period. You'll get more done with less people when you appreciate those that work for you. Number 9 is encourage growth. If you're not encouraging growth with your team, if you're not supporting that growth, following up and keeping the communication regular with that growth, you will lose your teammates to people that do. Teammates, and just think about yourself or myself, when we're sitting in a position, what we want to do is we want to grow, we want to understand it better so we can increase our earnings, we can increase our impact that we have with our customers and our relationships that we have with our neighbors, our coworkers, and those around us. So by encouraging growth, we continue to get what we need to make us feel enthusiastic about continuing our process. My point in this channel, and the reason I decided to do this, is with my history of in the professional world, my personal history, and the number of books I've read and studies and certifications and all that stuff is what made me want to start this channel, because when you teach things, you learn things better as well. So that was why I wanted to do this channel, to encourage growth and then be a piece of that growth for other people, because other people have been that piece of growth for me and have shown me things and taught me countless items. My expectation when I leave my house every day is someone today is going to teach me something. They may not know what I know in certain areas, but I definitely don't know things that they know in certain areas. So I go out expecting every day to learn from folks and get growth. Number 10 is praise. When you praise people, it goes back to that giving credit a little bit earlier. Giving credit is a little different than praise. Praise can be given to anyone on any day of the week. Someone's always doing something to inspire, to improve, to care, to show empathy every single day. You want to praise things every single day. You want to make sure that you have that praise appropriate and you're giving it regularly. When you have that attitude of gratitude, things will go better. And also when you're praising things and you're praising folks and praising what they're doing and those processes, and you have that attitude of gratitude, you cannot help but have a positive attitude. The more you focus on the good, the more you appreciate the good, the more people hear you say that, the more positive attitude you're going to have around you. It cultivates that. You're creating the environment you now live in. So praise. The next one, number 11, is mentor. I talked in the past how mentorship is a key component, if not the primary component, to a long-term plan. If you want people to stay in your life, be it from relationship-based, employee-based, teammate-based, boss-based, whatever it may be, you have to be a mentor to them. And you can mentor up just like you can mentor down. There's tons of people that are not as successful as you are in what you do in a unimaginable, uncountable number of subjects, right? So everyone has their life experiences that have taught them very specific things that other people haven't learned. And if you can prevent other people from having to go through that pain and having to learn through the same mistakes by taking the time to mentor them in those components, that's a fantastic way to make friends. It's a fantastic way to keep teammates. It's a fantastic way to build a team. And the last piece is fair. Fairness, as we know, life is not fair. But in relationships and in status, especially with teammates in a business surrounding or a business setting, Being fair is fairly simple. It means you're looking at everybody as a 10. You're treating everybody like they're going to be a career person. You're going to treat that individual as they have the ultimate value, because ultimately they do. And the more time you spend into that mentorship and into that communication and into that inspiration, what you're going to do is you're going to build somebody that has expectations to be with you for a long time. That's why fairness is key. You want to make sure that you don't do things that are based on recency bias, because us as human beings, we have biases that we're unaware of, right? So you have to watch how you do that. You have to make sure that you regulate yourself in a way that you're treating people the same. But recency bias is a big deal. Let's say you have a teammate that you had for 5 years, and right now they're not showing up to work on time. They're calling in a good bit. They're having all those issues. But for the last 5 years, they've been a dependable teammate and not had issues. Well, part of treating someone like their career is that you know things are going to come along. You know that human beings are going to have human problems. And some of those things are unforeseen. Some of those things pop up and are urgent or emergency type situations. So as being fair and treating that person as the whole, as that career, you would protect them in those times of need and make sure that you're looking out for them, because you still see them as the value that they are as a whole, not just this recent situation. So fairness is a pretty important way to drive that unity and that support for your team. So those are 12 things I think are personality traits that are required for success for any leader or any boss or anybody who's going to be a member of a team or a team leader. So hopefully that's useful to you. Hopefully that information is going to be of value to you, and you can put that in practice every single day. Hopefully you took notes on this video, and if you haven't, go back and go through them again. There's plenty of books on all these subjects. You can look up every one of those titles, all 12, and you'll have books and suggestions around articles that you could read every single day. If you like the channel and you like the stuff that we're putting out, please subscribe. Please share the channel with folks that you know that may get a value out of it. And please follow up and see what we go to put out there next. I appreciate you all. Be good.